Welcome back to another Hooks and Needles unboxing, reveal, and review. As usual, I like to keep my introductions short and sweet so we can just get straight into the video. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Sig and this is Essential Crochet, and you are always welcomed here. I encourage you to hit the subscribe bar. And if you like this review or you just simply like this content, please hit the like button. And of course, you are always welcome to leave a comment below. I do my best to respond to each and every one of them. All right, let's just get started then. So this month's Hooks and Needles subscription box comes with, as usual, a lovely image on the front of their book. And then as you can see, the inside image on the inside page of the book is always a lovely image. It either has a beautiful texture like this basket weave textured look has, or sometimes it's a variety of colors that work very well. I'm always a little disappointed when I see this beautiful texture that they give us on the book, the presentation, but it's never what the actual piece is that we're going to work with. Now, granted, this usually is geared towards the absolute beginner, but it does bum me out a little bit. And so I'm going to open up here to page 5 to the greetings and the crafting family information. And then, of course, again, here's another lovely image with some more beautiful texture. And then our crafting greeting, basically, crafting family. Can you believe it's been 4 whole months since you began this journey together? So this is my 4th box with them. Your vibrant creation have filled our community with so much warmth and color. Okay, once again, we invite you to delve into the pages of our monthly magazine. You will discover the insightful tips, inspiring stories, and step-by-step instructions for an exciting brand new project. Here's a little hint. You will totally transform the way you carry your essentials. But before we reveal everything, let's see what's inside your box. So they tell us that they've given us 3 bamboo touch yarns. So that's what we have. We have it in this green color. And they tell us that it's crafted from 100% viscose bamboo. So basically it's a semi-synthetic yarn. They tell us it's luxurious, soft texture, and equal friendly appeal. So bamboo is usually quite a soft yarn, and it typically has a little bit of a sheen to it. Next, they tell us they've given us a new crochet hook. And typically in this box, we get 2 hooks of the same size, and this box is no different. So they're giving us a US sized 6 hook. And that would be this right here. As usual, and as I've said before, I'm not a fan of their hooks. I set them aside, and maybe one day I'll give them away, but I have my own hooks that I like to use, and these ones just really don't do anything for me. And then they're also going to give us instructions in the book, of course, for the project of the month. They say they've got us covered with easy-to-follow steps to create something truly special. And then they give us tips and tricks. Let's explore the basics of color theory. So they're going to give us an article that talks a little bit about color theory and discover how you can crochet the most vibrant creations. So yeah, it's going to be basic. It's certainly going to help you quite a bit with your color theory, but you know, it's just a very short little article. Next, they're giving us these stitch tension rings, right? So these tension rings are kind of interesting. I've seen them for a long time, obviously. I've never tried using one. I've thought about maybe purchasing 1 or 2 of these rings in the past to give them a try to see what I thought. And I guess I don't really have to do that anymore. I will try with these rings, and I'll let you know at the end of this video how I liked them. So at any rate, so they give us the ring, and then it seems that they give us a little article that tells us how to use these rings properly. So that's good, because usually you buy these rings and you just kind of need to know or figure it out on your own. I've never seen like instructions given with these rings before. Not that that doesn't exist, but I've just never seen it. So I'm interested to see what the instructions in this book looks like. The Bamboo Touch. They tell us to get ready to fall in love with the yarn of the month, Bamboo Touch, crafted by our talented Portuguese partner. They say, please note that the yarn color shown in the instruction photo may vary from the color included in your box. Well, yes, they have a nice teal color, and in my box I have this kind of spring green color. They tell us that the Bamboo Touch yarn offers a luxurious soft texture and eco-friendly appeal, crafted from 100% viscous bamboo for superior durability and natural antibacterial properties. Each 50-gram skein extends to 95.5 yards, providing plentiful canvas for your creative endeavors. So yeah, we're just getting just less than 300 yards total of this for our 50 grams. The yarn itself is a 4 weight, and I would totally agree with that. I think that is a solid 4 weight. Now, for this particular yarn, you will want to hand wash and flat dry. We're told that you can dry clean it. You can iron it with a very low setting on your iron. And that is about it for the yarn. Now, the project this month they're introducing is what they call the Timeless Tote Bag. This month's crafting adventure brings you all-time classic. Our skilled Portuguese partner designed a gorgeous tote bag exclusively for you. It's the perfect item for carrying your essentials, whether you're headed to the market or to the beach or simply strolling through town. And then they tell us that it's a nice bag because of the touch and the feel of the yarn. Notes from the designer. This bag is made up of crocheted shapes that are folded with a handle and sewn together. Their creased shapes are reminiscent of origami. Each piece is crocheted back and forth in short rows, using increase and decrease stitches to create the shape. The plant-based fibers, linen and cotton, are nice and durable, with a little sheen from the silk. So they tell us that this is an advanced beginner or ambitious beginner level project. They give us some information on the gauges. They tell us that for this particular project, we want the full 3 skeins of our Bamboo Touch, size 6 hook, a ruler, 2 markers, optional, so I'm guessing stitch markers, a darning needle, scissors, and cardboard or cardstock. And this is the purse. It's clearly an asymmetrical purse. What do you think? Do you like it? Do you don't like it? Let us know in the comment box below. Also, I can see now where the cardstock is going to come in, because clearly we're going to also be making a bit of a tassel. So as usual, for a kit like this, we'll see. Will I make this purse, or will I make a different project from the yarn given? I don't know yet. You'll have to hang on about 2 seconds in order to find this out. And then at that time, I'll tell you why I made my decision. I will let you know how I felt about using the yarn, my observations in terms of that. I'll also let you know what I thought of the tension rings, how they worked out for me. Yeah. All right. So let me go ahead and get this project done, and I will see you back here in about 2 seconds. So I'm going to start off by talking about this tension ring. And the tension ring is designed so that it can be adjustable. So you can loosen it or make it tighter depending on the size of your finger. Because when you put it over your finger, past that first knuckle, you're going to want to make sure that it's snug. You don't want it obviously cutting off your circulation, but you don't want it slipping, because once you get the thread around that head and you start working with it, it can easily pull your ring, and that can be a little annoying. So I did work with it a little bit, and I didn't think it was terrible. I didn't really have a problem with it per se, and I can certainly see an application for it, especially if you're working with a rougher yarn and you usually use your finger as a way to control that tension, and you don't want the yarn cutting you or rubbing your finger raw. So I definitely see where this is super helpful. Or if maybe you just have very sensitive or thin skin that easily becomes impaired or cut or broken as a result of the fiber you're using, or maybe you just simply have a mild wool allergy. And so you don't need to get too crazy, like not use it at all, but maybe you need to limit it, the way it rubs against your skin a bit. So I can totally see great applications for this with regards to that. And what I've done here is provide images from their book as to how to go about properly putting on a tension ring and then looping your yarn around in a way that will work in terms of keeping the tension for you. However, it does get a little fiddly because you have to hold your work most likely differently than what you're accustomed to. And so that's going to take a little bit of time to get used to. Otherwise, it really works very well. Here's just another quick image of the pattern provided for this particular kit. And so I thought I'd show it to you before we move on. Now, as you can clearly see, this is not a tote bag. However, I did use the green yarn, the bamboo viscose yarn. Now, all the other yarn used on this piece is actually bamboo as well. And I personally like the end product of a bamboo yarn. Like I said, it's a decent, durable, semi-synthetic yarn that has a slight sheen to it. And as I said, I like the finished product. I'm not really a huge fan of working with it because the yarn itself has a tendency to split. So you really have to pay attention to that. However, aside from the splittiness of the yarn, it works up very much like a thicker thread. So any project you would make with cotton, you can make with this bamboo. And so as you can see, this clearly is not a tote. I completely went off the reservation with this one. However, when I looked at this piece, or rather when I looked at the yarn, all I could see was like a Pac-Man frog. This is a variety of a Pac-Man frog. Now, Pac-Man frog, for some of you who just don't know, it really is a thing. You should look it up. They're very adorable. And so I ended up making like a pouch, a bag. You can use this as a wallet or as a dice bag. And then, of course, the tongue is wrapped around a keychain. This is of my own design. If you're interested in pursuing this or making one of your own, I will have a link to the video tutorial below that will take you to my other channel, Weaving Weird Studio. And you can make it from there. So as you can see, I am much happier with this than I was with the original bag. Now let's talk about the original bag. So this original bag is asymmetrical. When I first saw the image, I thought maybe part of it had just been tucked back, but no, it clearly is this shape. And for some people, this might be a very pleasing shape. It's certainly a unique bag, but for me, it doesn't do it for me. It's very off looking for me. And in fact, it's very uncomfortable for me to look at because it just doesn't come off as a balanced piece to me. And so I didn't like it. I didn't like the design. I didn't like the shape. Yeah, I guess I can go on, but I won't belabor it. I just wasn't that enthralled with this pattern. clearly because, well, we made the little Pac-Man frog pouch. However, the tension ring was a nice little experimental piece, so I was happy with that. I was happy with the fact that we were given a goodly amount of a decent yarn. It's a little tricky to work with, that's for sure, but in terms of durability and looks and application, particularly if you want something that requires a cotton yarn, but you want it to be softer and maybe have a bit of a sheen to it, this bamboo semi-synthetic yarn is going to be a great go-to for you. And as usual, there were plenty of pictures. Sometimes the pictures I find are helpful, sometimes not. The instructions were about the same as I usually find them. For the most part, the instructions for hooks and needles are clear. Sometimes they get a little muddy at some points, but the projects are typically easy enough, even for a beginner, that you can kind of fumble your way through that part of it if you really get stuck. And it's not that the stitch is difficult, it's just sometimes the way the pattern is written. That's all. And you're going to find that with most patterns that you read from just about anybody you ever read a pattern from. So, I mean, that just is just the nature of the beast. So on that note, I'm going to conclude another Hooks and Needles subscription box for this month. I'm going to wish you a very wonderful and safe week. And then I'm going to look forward to seeing you the next time. Thanks for being with us today. Bye-bye now.